We're here at the National FFA Convention visiting with the National FFA President. He hails from the state of Illinois, Thaddeus Bergschneider. Well, how's it feel? You've got just days left with that title of National FFA President.
I am excited for the next person to step into this role and to see them take it on and impact members in the next year. The advancement was actually last night, so now we're down to, I think, 22 candidates who will then go on to take these roles.
Well, let's step back in time a little bit. Tell me your FFA story. How did you get involved in the organization?
So I tell people I was riding in a truck with my dad on my way to pick out my classes with my guidance counselor, my 8th grade going into freshman year. And I worked up the courage to tell my dad, hey, I don't think I want to join FFA. I'd rather not take an ag class. And I was expecting to open up this lengthy discussion to get to take these dual credit classes I wanted. His reaction was, too bad. And that's really my start in ag and FFA, was my dad going, too bad. I mean, I doubted whether I was going to find the right thing in FFA. I have an older brother, Luke, and my older sister, Bethany, who are in FFA. My dad farms, my grandpa farms corn, soybeans, and cattle. And at the moment, I didn't see myself going back to the family farm. So I kind of thought, FFA is not my thing. I need to get out. I need to try something different. But my dad told me that you'll find a place for yourself in FFA if you just try it. And he was right. I tried the creed, I tried ag sales, and once I got into those competitions, I'm a competitive guy, I was sold. And my FFA career just went off from there.
So you get involved in the organization, start doing some of those contests, the rest is history. What made you want to run for National FFA office, though?
Yeah, I'd say that I just took the next step. In my junior year, that was running for section office for the first time, Section 14 office in Illinois. And once I was a Section 14 officer, I went on chapter visits with our state officer. I said, I really would enjoy that. And so I decided to run for state office. And once I retired from state office, actually before then, I had to make the decision of whether I wanted to run for national office or not. And I got to that point and I felt like I had more to give. And so I'd say at every step, every moment, it was just, okay, I think let's put the next foot forward and let's do the next thing.
Going into your upper level education, you mentioned you weren't necessarily interested in agriculture. Has that changed over the years?
Yes. Now I'm a huge ag econ nerd.
Okay.
My concentration is finance and agribusiness within the agricultural and consumer economics major at the University of Illinois. So my dad was right. It just took me a couple of years to realize that those interests in math and business and policy and public speaking, those really were so well placed within agriculture. I just had to find the right place for that. And I'm sure you probably had a similar experience as well with what you're doing now.
Sure. Over the past 360 days or so, you've been on the road. About 300 of them is what they say for a national officer. Tell us about your travels over the past year.
I could tell you some good stories right here. Man, more TSA reactions than I can possibly count. I never dumped out my water bottle when I should have, so I'm sure they didn't love me as a traveler. Obviously, over 100,000 miles, so lots of airports, like I said, lots of car rides, lots of conversations, but really what I cherish most is the time I spent with FFA chapters. And whether that was a week with American Falls, Idaho as an FFA chapter or at conventions, I enjoyed building those relationships. And when I look back, it's the students like Esme from Idaho and Fabiana from Florida and Keith Tech from Massachusetts who really make the year. Because when you go out there and you see the different unique FFA stories across the country, it makes you realize the strength of our organization is much greater than you even realize from your own home state.
Well, what does the future of agriculture look like based on your travels over the past year?
Yep. I think we're going to continue to see these students who are in FFA use these projects, their supervised agricultural experiences, if you're an FFA and you know the acronym. I think they're going to use those projects to really push us forward as an agriculture industry. And that's with the drones and drone spraying. I've got a buddy who's a former state officer with me, Ben Bremer, and he has a drone company that he now runs in his area, Pearl City, Illinois. And I think that's a great example of his interest in agriculture and his FFA experience really pushing him forward to the next step and pushing agriculture forward in his area and his community. Broader, I think we're going to see some agriculture changes over the next 10 or 20 years that are really pushed by some geopolitical changes around China and the Middle East and Brazil and how that infrastructure continues to develop. But that's a little bit nerdy, so we'll have to continue going there. But I say in an FFA context, we're going to see innovation really be pushed by our FFA members.
Well, you said you're an ag econ nerd. I can tell it.
It starts to come out.
Thad joining us. He is the National FFA President. Joins us here at as part of our convention coverage.